If you're frustrated with the extra fat that you're storing around your midsection, in your belly, and your lower back, especially in your love handles, don't worry. I've had those too. My name is Mateo, and I've lost 50 pounds now twice in my life, and I've spent the last 8 years helping guys lose weight and get themselves in shape with a simplified approach. Over that time, the lower back fat, or the mac and cheese as I like to call it, has been a recurring character that just keeps coming up both personally in my own fitness journey and with the guys that I work with. So today I'm gonna show you the 2 reasons why it's so difficult to lose fat from your lower back. I'm gonna show you how you can actually do this for yourself using a combination of both training and nutrition. And I'm gonna share with you one big trade-off that comes along with losing your lower back fat to help you decide if it's even worth it for you. The first reason why losing your love handles is so hard is because you're trying to lose it all wrong. As you can see me demonstrating with this bucket of water, it's impossible for me to just pull some water selectively from the corner of the bucket. It just redistributes itself evenly. The same thing happens with your body fat. So if your body stores fat everywhere, then how do you actually get rid of that mac and cheese around your waist? Well, for men, the love handles and the lower abs are usually the last place to go when it comes to losing body fat. So you're gonna have to pass through varying levels of leanness, losing the fat from your arms, your chest, your face, your thighs, and your butt. And lastly, the lower abs and the love handles will just continue to go. You just need to keep getting lean enough in order to get there. But how much weight should you aim to lose, and how fast should you go? Well, you can download my free weight loss calculator using the link in the description box. It'll spit out a 6-month plan letting you know which specific weight milestones you should aim to hit over the next 6 months. But is losing fat really the only thing you can do to improve your love handle situation? Well, if you've been reading my newsletter, you know the importance I place on building and retaining as much muscle as possible while you lose fat along the way. And your lower back and love handles are no exception here. Is it called love handles because that's where you hold someone when you're railing them from behind? In any case, the first muscle group I'd aim to grow is your spinal erectors, which are those meaty cables that run alongside your spine. You can grow those with squatting variations, deadlifting variations, and bench over rows. And as they get bigger, they push up against the skin, creating more definition in your lower back, even when you still have some fat there. The second is your lats, which are the big monkey muscle on your upper back that creates a V-tapered appearance from your upper back down to your waist. To grow your lats, you're going to want to include vertical and horizontal pulling movements. You could do chin-ups, lat pull-downs, or a recent favorite of mine, single arm pull-downs for the vertical pulls. For horizontal pulling, movements like cable rows work great here. And unfortunately, no matter how much muscle you build, you will always store some body fat in your lower back if you never get lean enough overall. Here's a simple 3-step formula you can use to get you started. Step 1 is to figure out your calorie targets for fat loss. And a simple starting point is just multiplying your body weight in pounds by 10 to 12 to get a calorie range. For example, if you weigh 200 pounds, that's 2,000 to 2,400 calories per day. Tracking your calorie intake is far more important than obsessing over specific macros. Unless you're eating extremely low fat or low carb, you don't need to micromanage those. Or I guess it's macro manage. For bonus points, you can eat something like 0.8 grams of protein per pound of your body weight to ensure that most of every pound you lose is coming from fat and not muscle. And for our bigger fellows out there, you can calculate this based off your goal weight instead. This is part 1 and 2 of my 4-point fat loss framework that I cover in detail in my free 21-day fat loss program linked in the description box. Step 2 is to make smarter food choices. Now, there are no foods you need to avoid or include in order to lose fat. The key is keeping your total daily calories under control. That said, eating mostly whole, minimally processed food like fruit, veggies, lean meats, whole grains, low-fat dairy, seeds, and nut butters makes this so much easier to stay on track with. You'll have more energy, fewer cravings, you'll feel fuller, and feel so much better. Step 3 is to set a good fat loss goal, which would be losing something like 5 to 10% of your body weight over the next 3 months, or about 0.5 to 1% of your total body weight per week. For a 200-pound person, that's 1 to 2 pounds per week. But remember that your fat loss progress isn't always fully shown on the scale, especially if you're training smart and hard for muscle growth. Building muscle can make you look better even if the scale doesn't move as quickly. That's why I recommend monthly progress photos and measurements to have an extra point of data to help you track your progress. But here's a harsh truth for you. This is where I'm going to keep it real with you and show you the trade-offs to help you decide if this is actually worth it for you. Imagine cleaning a polluted river. Removing the big debris gets it 95% clean at a low cost. But going from 95 to 99% clean requires exponentially more effort and money, and most people wouldn't even notice the difference. The same thing applies for fat loss. Getting from overweight with plenty of fat to lose down to a healthy 15 to 20% body fat isn't easy, but there's a lot of low-hanging fruit you can pick to make that happen. Once you start tracking your food, eating better, lifting a few days per week, and staying active, the fat starts falling off. But removing that last little bit of love handles takes larger and larger sacrifices for smaller and smaller results. Completely eradicating your lower back fat often means pushing to to an unsustainable level of body fat. For example, I was recently around 10-12% body fat and I still had a bit of pinchable lower back fat. Did it make sense for me to keep pushing to get leaner? Hell no, I thought I looked great and I was ready to eat more food and build more muscle, but it might be worth it for someone else. Most folks dramatically underestimate how much weight they'll need to lose in order to get as lean as they want to be. So don't be surprised if your goal weight changes along the way. But honestly, you're just never going to get the physique you want if you're constantly restricting yourself and always focusing on losing more weight. So watch this video next where I'll show you why calorie deficits are keeping you stuck and how I finally got the badass physique I wanted once I gave up on them.